Why is web accessibility so important, you might ask? Well, imagine this, a world where everyone, regardless of their abilities, could access and utilize the web fully. Sounds ideal, doesn't it? That's what web accessibility is all about. Web accessibility refers to the inclusive practice of removing barriers that prevent interaction with or access to websites by people with disabilities. When sites are correctly designed, developed and edited, all users have equal access to information and functionality. This is where standards like the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, and the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, come in. They provide a series of recommendations for making web content more accessible. But what are the fundamental principles of these standards? The WCAG is based on 4 principles. Content must be perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust, often remembered by the acronym POUR. Perceivable implies that information and user interface components must be presented in ways that users can perceive. This means that users must be able to perceive the information being presented. It can't be invisible to all their senses. Operable means that users must be able to operate the interface. The interface cannot require interaction that a user cannot perform. Understandable is about making both information and the operation of user interface understandable. This means that users must be able to understand the information as well as the operation of the user interface. And finally, robust. Content must be robust enough that it can be interpreted reliably by a wide variety of user agents, including assistive technologies. Now let's talk about the ADA. The ADA is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all areas of public life. While it doesn't explicitly mention the Internet, the US Department of Justice has repeatedly affirmed its position that the ADA applies to websites. So, how do we apply these principles? Well, there are numerous methods and strategies for ensuring web accessibility. From using alt text for images, to ensuring sufficient color contrast, to providing transcripts for audio content, the list is extensive. In conclusion, web accessibility is pivotal in creating an inclusive digital world. It ensures that everyone, regardless of their abilities, can access and utilize the web fully. Standards like WCAG and ADA are not just guidelines, but crucial tools to achieve this goal. They provide a roadmap for developers and designers to create an accessible web experience for everyone. Remember, an accessible web is a better web. Let's work together to create a digital world that is inclusive and accessible to all. And on that note, we wrap up today's discussion. Stay tuned for more enlightening conversations on web accessibility.